Hello, my beautiful people. My name is Tiffany. Your spiritual wealth alchemist from the Seventh Harmony Place. Hello and welcome. And today we're going to be talking about the blueprint of a spiritual CEO. The blueprint of a spiritual CEO. And this video is 9 times out of 10 going to be for my spiritual people, my spiritual entrepreneurs, my spiritual baddies, okay, my spiritual kings. This video is going to be for you. Do not scroll, listen to what I have to say in close detail, maybe even take notes, okay? So let's talk about it. What is the blueprint of a spiritual CEO? A spiritual CEO is not just running a business. No, we're not. Okay. We are running on kingdom assignments. Yes, you are running on kingdom assignment. So they don't just build for likes or clout, they build for legacy, alignment, divine stewardship. They're here for something completely different. Okay. And so when you're here for something different, you're not just tasked with just the practical side of business, you're also tasked with the spiritual side of your assignment in business. Okay. So here is the blueprint that actually sets them apart. Kingdom vision versus hustle vision. Okay. Regular CEOs, they focus on profits, yearly and quarterly market trends. They want to follow the next thing, the next big thing. They choose what the next big thing is. Okay. They're more in a practical lane when you're talking about regular CEOs. Spiritual CEOs, they're a little different. Again, like I said, they're different. They operate from divine revelation. Their vision is anchored in God's blueprint. They have soul missions and eternal impact, meaning their impact is going to be eternal. It's not just for the latest trend, because a regular CEO may open up a business, but then they may close that business. A spiritual CEO is not. They're usually after legacy. So their business may pass on from one generation to the next generation. And a spiritual CEO, we don't trace trends. We create the timeline. We are the architects to the timeline. Now, when it comes to alignment with divine laws, they're built in covenant, not chaos. Okay. They understand divine laws of reciprocity, sowing and reaping, obedience, and spiritual authority when you're a spiritual CEO. Okay. While others market, we decree. While others hustle, we align. Okay. Their business becomes a ministry disguised as an actual marketplace. So you wonder why, a lot of spiritual people charge or they do what they do and things of that sort, because we're still a business, we're still a marketplace, but we're also work in the spiritual realm as well too. So we have to again multitask in two different realms, not just one. Okay? Now let's talk about authority over wealth and provision. Spiritual CEOs don't chase clients. They magnetize them through their actual vault. You're going to magnetize through your actual wealth vault. So if you've been having trouble with getting clients and you're a spiritual CEO, you have to work on your magnetism, you have to work on your scrolls, and you have to learn how to attract in your actual soul clients. Because yes, you are assigned a certain amount of soul clients underneath your vault. The next thing is they walk in consciousness that God is the ultimate investor and they're simply just the stewards of capital. So, what that means is that if you are not a steward over your finances, God will not align or God will not invest. So, you got to think of it, if you're going to an investor, if you're going to someone for funding, if you're going to a bank, right, they're going to want to see everything put together. They're going to want to see your paperwork put together. They want to see your vision put together. They're going to want to make sure it's in alignment with their actual business. It's the same thing with God. God want to make sure that you're in alignment, you're in mission, and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in regards to order, because God's operate in divine order. Their pricing, also when it comes to wealth and provision, their pricing is divine pricing. is not security, insecurity, or base discount or worldly greed. So usually a spiritual CEO don't really have to move to hustle. Okay, they're not, oh, I want to hustle and get this, and I got to get up and get the early bird gets the worm, all of that. No. A spiritual CEO does not price based off of insecurity, meaning they're not going to undervalue themselves, and they're not in tune with the worldly greed. Like, yeah, like maybe, you could think like I could really take advantage of this. If I do this every single day, I could take advantage. We don't operate like that. We operate in stillness, peace, patience, and obedience. They're not brokeners, they are wealth alchemists. Okay, so spiritual CEOs are all about alchemizing their wealth and transmuting certain things to magnetize the things that is supposed to be attracted to them. Now we're going to drop in leadership as priestess or priestesshood. Leadership as a priestess or priesthood. Now, you have to understand spiritual CEOs are here to lead people's soul, not their actual wallets. Okay? We're here to get your spiritual soul together, your spiritual wealth together, your spiritual abundance together, and your spiritual inheritance together. Their staff, their clients, and community are treated as part of their temple, whether you know it or not. And let's say you don't have a spiritual business, but you go to a spiritual practitioner, you are part of that person's actual temple as a client. Okay. They carry scrolls, prayers, and blueprints that sustain the energetic protection of their entire enterprise. So as much as I am protected in the spiritual realm, so is my clients through my scrolls, prayers, and blueprints because what they're part of that actual temple. Okay, so it's really important as a leader, a spiritual CEO or leader, that you fortify and you focus on protection more than anything. Okay, every meeting that the CEO has, the spiritual CEO has with a client, is a meeting at an altar. Every contract is also a covenant as well too. Now, the thing about spiritual CEOs, they also want to build legacy and global impact. Yes, spiritual CEOs generally have people all over the world that either follow them, know them, or being led by them. Okay, so a spiritual CEO builds with the eternity mind. So you know how you see the eternity symbol, that is the sign, or you're seeing eight, that is the sign that you are a spiritual CEO. Their products and services are designed to break generational cycles, awaken the DNA, and restore God's order in humanity. Okay, so those are the three things that spiritual CEOs are here. They're either here to break generational cycles and curses, awaken the DNA of the collective, or restore God's order in humanity. Okay, they aren't afraid to say no to deals that are misaligned because they're building a kingdom empire and it's not just business with them. They know that their work echoes in the Akashic Records and not in just a bank ledger. So they already know that in the Akashic field, in the Akashic Records, in the universe, that what decisions, what they choose to do, what they say no to do is going to affect their actual timeline will, their mission contracts. And so they know what to say yes to and what not to say yes to. I mean, what to say no. Did I say that right? They know what to say yes to and what to say no to. I don't know if I said that right or not. Okay. Okay. So what makes them different? What makes them different? So a regular CEO is mind led. A spiritual CEO is spiritually led. I don't move unless spirit tell me to move. Okay. I don't do anything unless spirit okay me to do it. I'm very obedient and guided by Holy Spirit, and that's how I actually move. Even with clients, I'll be like, no, spirit telling me not to touch that. So I don't do it. Okay. I will return your money back. Okay. So that's how spiritual CEOs work. They embody the priest, king, priestess, queen archetype. Okay. So blending wisdom, authority, service, and divine wealth stewardship. They blend in wisdom, authority, service, and divine wealth stewardship. If you would like to learn more about this, if you would like to join any of my tier programs, I would highly suggest that you take a tier 2 or tier 3 program at Harmony Academy that is starting really soon. You will learn so much more about your soul mission, how to be a spiritual CEO baddie, and how to master the practical and spiritual world. A lot of you have spiritual gifts, but you're not sure how to balance that out in the practical world that we live in. Well, I am here to teach you and guide you and lead you if you are open to receiving it. The link is in my bio for more information. If you would like a soul-led business blueprint where you really want to go in depth on what it is that your actual mission and calling is, you can also purchase that as well. And I would highly recommend that you get that if you've already done a soul decoding and contract cancellation. That would be your next step to figure out, what am I supposed to be doing here? How do I set up my containers for my services? And what timeline do I need to be on to actually reach that? I love you guys. My information is in the bio. Please do check it out. I love y'all. Peace.